Every country in the world is in debt, but no one asks you the real question. If everyone is in debt, who is taking the money? The United States today has more than $38 trillion in debt. This is the highest figure in its history. The European Union carries around 14 trillion. Japan, nearly 9 trillion. Oil-rich countries, export giants, superpowers, all of them are in debt. But wait, this is where logic breaks. Because if there is debt, there must be a creditor. And if everyone is in debt, who is the creditor? This is where the disturbing part begins. Debt is not just a burden. Debt is the skeleton of the modern world. Wars, crises, economic booms and collapses, all of them stand on top of an invisible system. Promises, debt instruments, IOUs, and if you follow this chain long enough, you realize something. The world is not in debt to any one specific entity. The world is in debt to itself. But that doesn't mean everyone benefits equally. On the contrary, today, our planet lives under more than $315 trillion of total debt. That number is nearly 3 times the size of the global economy. So how did we get here? The answer isn't on Wall Street, not in banks, not in credit cards. The answer is war. The year is 1694. England is at war with France, and its gold is running out. The king has no money left, and for the first time in history, something different happens. The king turns to merchants and says, "Give me money today, and I will pay you endless interest in the future, guaranteed by taxes." At that moment, everything changes. The state begins spending money it does not yet have, and for the first time in history, merchants receive something new, a promise from the state. A promise that can be bought and sold, transferred, accepted as collateral. Government bonds are born, the core of the modern financial system. France copies it. The Netherlands refines it. America finances its war of independence and its expansion with it. Debt is no longer a weakness. It becomes a symbol of power. Empires once conquered land to extract gold. Now they issue debt to extract interest. The battlefield changes. No longer the front lines, but the balance sheet. And today, debt is the world's largest export. Every country is in debt. Every bank lends. Every citizen through taxes, pensions, and savings is both a debtor and a creditor at the same time. But who is holding the other end of the rope? Let's look at the United States. Because its debt is not just national, it is global. About half of the $38 trillion belongs to investors. And most of those investors are American. Banks, pension funds, insurance companies, and ironically, America's own central bank. So when people say the US owes China, that is true, but only about 2%. America's largest creditor is America itself. The Treasury issues debt, banks buy it, the central bank prints money and buys it back. Interest is paid through taxes, and the money flows back into the system. It's a circle, a mirror. The debt is real, but the creditor is the system itself. And this isn't just true for America. This is a global cycle. Japan lends to the US. The US lends to Europe. Europe lends to developing nations. And they park their foreign exchange reserves in Western bonds, sending the money back. This is a planetary game, but the chips are made of promises. Everyone holds someone else's debt, and the game has only one rule: no one leaves the table. But who is really running the game? The answer: the markets. Hedge funds, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, and central banks managing trillions. They decide who borrows cheaply and who pays a price just to survive. Democracy decides who governs, but markets decide who lives. And at the heart of the system stands a single institution: central banks. They don't just manage debt, they create it. Every bond purchase creates new money. One person's liability becomes another person's asset. That's why you need to understand this. There is no such thing as debt-free money. Every banknote in your pocket, every digital balance on your phone is an unwritten debt somewhere else. And for decades, this system has survived on one thing: trust. No one believes the debt will ever disappear. Everyone simply believes one thing: interest will continue to be paid. But what happens when trust breaks? It happened in Greece. It happened in Argentina. It happened in Sri Lanka. Suddenly, the creditors become visible. The IMF, rating agencies, invisible bondholders. And then everything starts again. New debts replace the old ones. Because the truth is this system was not built to repay debt. It was built to roll debt over forever. Governments do not plan to pay off their debts. This is not a conspiracy. This is the system itself. Interest is the rent of stability, and the global economy depends on that rent. If America paid off all its debt overnight, the system would collapse. Because debt is the foundation of the markets, the most trusted asset there is, and no one wants it to disappear. That's why debt doesn't shrink. It grows rhythmically, like the heartbeat of capitalism. And that's why politicians who say we will eliminate the debt are not selling a reality, but a story. Because the goal is not to eliminate debt. The goal is to keep people believing in it. But the final and most disturbing part is this: debt doesn't just move between countries, it moves between classes. Interest flows upward, from workers to those who hold the debt. That's why as debt grows, inequality grows with it. And finally, we arrive at the question: if this system collapses, who is to blame? China? Wall Street? The IMF? No, all of them, and us. Because debt has become money itself, and we are all inside it. Debt once meant bondage. Today, it means balance. But if that balance breaks, the illusion ends. And we remember what debt really is: a promise that cannot be kept forever.